Hello fellow-litas and long time no see. I do apologize for not being able to come through with that blouse clean out that I promised you via live stream. I got the flu, I'm actually still recovering, I cannot talk for 2 hours straight, it's just not gonna happen. But I have decided that there seems to be enough interest in regular live streams and they are pretty low effort for me overall to produce. So I'd like to start doing a live stream on the first Saturday of every month at 1 p.m. Pacific time. So same time as my first live stream and the one that didn't go according to plan. And if for some reason I can't make those happen, it'll be just a skip week for me, but I'm trying to get back on the video train because it seems like that's what y'all want to see from me. So froggy throat or no, we are pushing on, and if I have to slip in and out of whispers, just enjoy this ASMR Lolita instructional video, I guess. So this here in my hands is the Magical Stone Researcher's Encyclopedia High-Waist JSK by Metamorphose, and this is the plus size version. This dress is not something that is typical for my wardrobe because the cut is so unique. So I've seen a lot of Lolitas posting about how this JSK and also Meta's other release, Black Cat and the Magical Map JSK, I've heard them referred to as deceptively not plus size friendly. I've seen a lot of plus size Lolitas post about how unflattering these two JSKs are on plus size bodies, which sucks because I am pretty sure that this is all due to a specific common problem that I have experienced as a plus size and swole and tall Lolita in the past. So today I am going to unwrap this baby. I am going to hang her up and point out a couple of little details, but instead of doing a full 3-chord video, I'm just going to do a quick try on to show you how this looks straight out of the bag on somebody with plus size, tall, and swole proportions, and then I'm going to talk about some things that I'm going to try to do to make it fit me better, because I suspect that I will be one of those people for whom this dress is not flattering right out of the bag. But I'm not worried about this. I have been preparing for a moment like this for a long time. I believe that this cut is going to look really great on me, even if it doesn't fit or work properly right out of the bag. I've wanted to do a video that specifically references how to make plus size garments fit you depending on your proportions if they don't come to you looking great, without doing much modification work or spending extra money to go to a seamstress to get things altered. And yeah, I'm betting this is going to be that opportunity. Before we get started, I should mention that these over here are my measurements. I'm not going to say them aloud because that will hurt my voice. And this here is also the dress's measurements. So according to the Metamorphose website, I should be right smack in the middle and have no problems fitting this dress. But sometimes there are more measurements that come into play than just bust, waist, length, sometimes shoulders. And brands don't always list these measurements, but knowing them for yourself and knowing how to identify them on a garment is really useful. So let's go over them now. So here is the dress, and it is absolutely beautiful in person. Definitely exceeds my expectations as far as what I thought I was getting looking at the stock photos. For one thing, the fabric is shimmery, and I don't know how well you can see it on camera, but it's got these little tiny like glittery shimmery flecks in it, and I have no idea how this is going to wash, but that is a question for another time because I'm just going to enjoy it in the meantime. The fabric is definitely some sort of lightweight chiffon, and it does seem to be having a little bit of shedding problems. Don't know to what extent you can see them, but I am pulling little threads of this off when I find them, but it's not a defect, it's just an artifact of the manufacturing, and I will need to go over this once with a fine-tooth comb just to make sure that all the schmutz is off of it before I wear it out. Let's breeze through some other details here. It's got chiffon ruffles at the top as well as this lovely line of little dangling gems. This print has both creamy gold, like a light white gold, and a silver element to it. This bow over here is removable. I'm not gonna lie, I was not a fan of this rhinestone in the stock photos, but it's not as bad in person, and I'm still on the fence about whether or not I'm wanting to cut it off or just leave it alone. It's got very long, lovely waist ties attached with two kind of multifaceted clear buttons, and the cut of the front of the dress is very much baby doll style. So it's got a high waist design, and the bust is separated from the skirt by this thinner line line. And then there are these crossover panels here of the lighter chiffon with a lining layer that includes multiple ruffled chiffon tiers, which makes up the body of the skirt. And here from the back you can see that the bodice is rather short and fully shirred, but there is no separation between the bodice section and the skirt on the back. That waistband design does not carry through to the back, so it isn't as distinct on the back as it is on the front. And on the back you can get an even better look at the print, all contiguous like. It is so beautiful. This is clearly some sort of geologist slab with crystals and gems everywhere. There's some things that are labeled fluorite, and some of the gems are shaped like the swans, and they say Metamorphose. There's also amethyst here. I don't know what the other colorways look like in terms of those details, but I just thought that the purple was so pretty. So this was the color of choice, and here's the tag. So yes, very simple, straightforward, not going to spend too much time talking about all of that. What I want to focus on is specifically this bodice style. So the thing that I think most people have found unflattering about this dress is the fact that there is such a high waist because it is a baby doll cut, and the fact that the actual bust is rather short in comparison to the rest of the dress. Most plus size people in general have a pretty large bust measurement, and it's not just about the actual circumference of the bust, it also has to do with bust volume that comes from your cup size. I am a double D/E cup depending on the brand. I've even been an F cup a couple of times. All that basically means is that between my under bust, which is where my bra band goes, and my full bust measurement, which is what most people consider the bust on these dresses that are listed online, there's about a 5-inch difference. But 5 inches is different depending on your body type. If you are very firm and compact, 5 inches is going to look very different than if you have larger, heavier breasts, for example. I think this is going to get me demonetized. I'm talking about things scientifically here. This is all scientific. I can't speak to anybody else's body type or breast shape, but I can tell you that there are a few things to look out for if you are particularly large-breasted when it comes to Lolita, and I think a style like this would not work as well for somebody who is, say, a G or F cup and also plus size. Now, I actually suspect that the bra size I stated is out of date because a lot of my bras do not fit me very well anymore. I think my cup size has probably gone up, as well as maybe my band size from all of the lifting I've been doing. It is no joke. Since I'm a 38E, what that basically means is that 38 plus 5 for a total of 43 inches is about what they expect me to be working with. I'm actually more like 46 lately, so 46 inches doesn't quite translate, but it's still well within the bust measurement for this. So one thing I like to do if I'm at, say, a swap meet or something and I'm looking at another person's garment that I'd like to buy, I like to use what I call the hang loose hand trick. This is the, hang loose symbol. I don't know what it's actually called. I just saw it in Rocket Power when I was growing up, so hang loose. But you can use your hand to measure the length and curvature of your bust. I don't know where exactly I learned this. I think it was something I picked up and figured out after many swap meet experiences, but here's how it works. So when I hold my hand up, I can put my pinky at the under bust and my thumb at the over bust. This tells me exactly how much space I'm going to need. It's not an exact science, but it gives you a sort of ballpark estimate of how much curvature and what kind of height you're going to need for a bust style like this. And when I take my hand and move it over to this, you can see it's actually looking like it's going to be a little too short for my bust. The ideal fit for me would be for this line up here to have gone right above my thumb. Now, if you saw me hold my hand out up to my chest and thought to yourself, oh my god, that is so not going to work for me, I have a hack that will prepare you in the opposite direction that uses the same basic measuring techniques. In reverse, if you try to find the center of one of the breast areas, hold your hand up and measure from right above the under bust line to right below the edge of the garment, and this is the space you have to work with. Then you can hold it up to yourself and see just how much over boob spillage you are going to be dealing with. I would have preferred a couple more inches, but that is how this is gonna go for me. I need to make sure that the straps on this are long enough so that the actual underbust of this dress hits me at my literal actual underbust. I suspect that I'm going to need to lengthen the straps on this. But before I do any sewing or seam ripping, let me try this baby on with a blouse, and I will show you exactly where things fall on me, and you can get a better sense of what I'm talking about while it's, you know, on my person. So as you can see, the bust is definitely too short for me. This underbust area that I was saying I wanted to start right down here has actually ended right down here, which gives a very strange look overall, and it just doesn't look like it fits. Now I want to be clear that there is nothing wrong with how this looks. It's true that it doesn't fit my proportions the way that I would prefer to wear it, but if you look like this in this dress and you feel cute and like this is great and you want to keep looking like this, feel free to disregard any of the advice I am about to give. This is purely if you want it and would prefer it to look slightly differently on your body. In general, I think our ideas as a society of what is considered flattering or unflattering is very rooted in fat phobia, and we don't take kindly to fat phobia around here. If you've ever been on the plus size side of things in your life and you are a woman, I'm sure you've probably heard some well-meaning person tell you to change your outfit because it makes you look fat or gives the impression that you are pregnant. This dress would be an example of that. Because it minimizes your bust and your skirt starts down here, it kind of emphasizes your stomach. And actually, if I was pregnant, I would love to wear this dress as a maternity dress because, damn, that would just be so cute. I mean, anyway, I am not pregnant. I am also not worried about looking like I'm pregnant, and I don't care how thick I look or the fact that this minimizes my bust. What I do care about is that it looks like it doesn't fit. That's the only criteria that I am using in this case, and it's actually a very simple fix that I will show you how to do right now. So it's no secret that I consider Meta to be the most plus size inclusive and plus size friendly of the Japanese brands. And that's not just because they actually release dresses in multiple sizes, including plus and plus plus sizes. It also has to do with the baseline level of accommodation they give to alternate body types within the fashion, namely the incredible amount of space they give you on their straps to move the buttons down as much as you see fit. So the buttons are actually defaulted to a pretty normal average size and length for the average bodied person, but I am a very large person. I'm 6 feet tall, so I need more strappage, and I almost always move the buttons down on my Meta releases. So in this particular release, the strap has a clear top spot. This is going to have to move if I move the buttons down, but it's not going to look too weird to be a little further forward. At least, in my opinion, it won't look as weird as my bust being cut off halfway through, so I think it's an allowance that we can make. So the dress had been defaulted to being up here, but just by unhooking the straps, I can shift the whole bodice down so that this edge is right in line with my lower bust. And yeah, that doesn't give me a whole ton of room for my fleshy bits, but it also immediately looks more natural and better proportioned for my body than it did before. Now, to determine how far down I need to move the buttons, I just get the bodice positioned on my body, the place I want it to be, and I usually ask my partner for help with this, so I'm not actually going to be able to do it, but I can give you a sense of how the process works without him here. So you want to look at how the buttons were naturally arranged and make note of any angle that they have if it's different from being completely parallel to the bottom edge here. That can be the case sometimes, so definitely always take note of that. Then, with your dress held in the exact place you want it to fall when the straps are reattached, pull up the back side of the shirring, which will probably have slacked down if you've got enough room for that. and realign the bottom of the strap with the part of the back shirring panel of the dress that has the buttonholes for those buttons. So on me, you can see I'm going to want to move those buttons down by a couple of inches at least, and there will still be some little bit of overlap that will be able to be tucked into the back of the shirring panel, but it won't be nearly as much as what's originally come with this dress. Now, I'm not going to go over how to seam rip a button and reattach and move a button. I am not the greatest sewing teacher, as my previous sewing tutorials can attest to, but I will try to find an instructional video that can tell you more about how to move buttons specifically and link it in my description below. So if this is something you need to do, please do check that if you are unfamiliar with the button removal and moving process. But let's say you don't even have time for that. Like, you got your dress in the mail, it's the only dress you have that is on theme for a specific meetup, and the day has come and you don't have the time to hack the buttons up, or you don't have a helper to help you figure out moving the buttons or pinning the dress in place as a temporary measure. So what can you do if this is an issue you're having? My hack for that is the halter tie. It's very simple. You just take the straps, leave the buttons and whatnot as they are, and tie the dress behind your neck like a halter top. Now, I recommend a loose tie because this does add some creases to the straps, and if you do later plan on moving the buttons down, you may have to do some severe ironing to get that to stop interfering. But I just did a typical box knot back there, just kind of lightly held, and now the dress looks like this. One thing to note about the halter tie is that you will tend to get the back shirring panel of the dress slipping down a bit. So definitely make sure that if you are halter tying, you're comfortable with your blouse being as translucent as it may happen to be, and any undergarments you may be wearing showing through. There's always a chance that that is going to kind of slip out the back, but also tying waist ties can really help with that. So let's tie the waist ties to keep the back of the dress up. I've never been good at tying bows. I'm a failed Lolita role model. All right, and there it is. It's very vintagey. The fit is actually really great now. I love the way this looks, and I bet it'll be even more fabulous with a petticoat. So yeah, I think this is ready for the full coordination experience. I am going to leave it halter tied, and I think I may even stick with this blouse because I'm kind of digging the vibe, but we shall see. I will be back in a moment with a full cord to show off for you. All right, this cord took a turn that I did not expect, but I am quite pleased with the results. So I did switch the Hell Bunny blouse out for this dotted mesh navy blouse by Lady Sloth because I remembered I had these shoes, and when I realized that they were sparkly and dark blue and fit with this cord, kind of, I had to shoehorn them in, and more navy had to be added in order to balance things out. My head bow is by Enchantillic and Chantilly from the Queen Bunny line. My wrist cuffs are by Peacock Alarum on Etsy. My petticoat is by Me Likes Tea. My socks are by Roji Roji, and the shoes that made me take this turn in the first place are by Cotton Candy Feet. Yeah, this is definitely not how I would have thought to style this JSK just out of the package based on how the Metamorphose models are wearing it especially. I didn't go nearly as ham as I would usually go for accessories because I'm already feeling kind of pooped from all the exertion that just doing this took. So this is kind of a simple and casual cord by my standards, but it's actually quite comfortable, and I do think it's very cute, very me. Definitely has that vintage spin that I like to put on things. Digging through my closet to look for this blouse after spotting the shoes, I did have a couple of other ideas that I definitely want to try next time. I finally got my hands on another one of those mesh overdresses by Lady Sloth. This one is the black colorway, and I actually think that pairing that with this dress another time would be amazing. I just wanted to make sure that I was able to show like the front and the back and the halter tie and all that stuff this time around. So that'll happen in the future. I'd also honestly love to try pairing this with pink. I also think gold or silver would be a really good secondary color option for this. And it matches my cat pretty well too because he is brown. Say hi, Mau Mau. Don't claw my dress. I will be very upset. It is chiffon. It's very delicate. So yes, if you are one of those people who got this dress and was immediately disappointed by the cut, do not despair. Give these tips a try first and see if they will work to make this dress work for you. Same goes for Black Cat and the Magical Map. I know that that dress has more of a bodice plus defined waist and then a lower skirt, so it's not exactly the same, but the principles are very much the same, and the reason the fit has been off for so many people is still the same. It's that bodice style. So definitely give this a try if you have either of those dresses. And if you have one of those dresses and have another tip for how you made the fit work, please leave them in the comment section below, as well as any other colors or theme ideas that you might want to see coordinated with this dress. Overall, I wouldn't say that this is Meta's most plus size and Lolita friendly dress, but it's also definitely not the least of those things either. And overall, I would give it a 4 out of 5 biceps. If you're a Lolita who's learned something from this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I don't focus on beginner friendly things, but I am very focused on fit and plus size friendly pieces, and so if that is the sort of thing that applies to you or interests you in any way, please do give this channel a go. I would love for you to stick around. Please also follow me on Instagram before you go. My handle there is @EliviraWrestling, because I sometimes post my wrestling stuff there too, but I am mostly Lolita focused lately. I do post more coordinate photos there, as well as stuff about my wrestling journey, preview pieces of the brand that I'm working on launching, Mirror Mirror Me, and I do often post YouTube related updates there just because it is so much easier to reach people via Instagram than it is by YouTube, because the community tab is essentially worthless, but I will keep using that also. So look out for those community posts too. Oh my god, I just lost my voice even more. Alright, I'm gonna go take some more cough medicine and drink some soup and some tea. I have been Elvira. I am a plus size tall and swole Lolita, and I really appreciate you watching this video all the way to the end. I am so sorry about that. I just cannot contain my germs anymore. Okay, I'm gonna go rest. Thanks again. Bye.